In the mysterious realms of the Vikings, those legendary seafarers who sailed the seas of Scandinavia left behind a trail of chilling customs and enigmatic traditions that continue to captivate the curious minds of today. But amidst their fearless exploits and tales of bravery lies a darker side, a world of eerie practices and creepy rituals involving women. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie behind the Viking shield? How did these fierce warriors navigate matters of the heart and soul? And what sinister customs were woven into the fabric of their society? Brace yourselves for a spine-tingling journey as we uncover the creepy things Viking men have ever done to women. Imagine the vastness of the seas, where daring souls hailing from Scandinavia, encompassing present-day Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, embarked on epic journeys from the late 8th to the 11th centuries. These intrepid seafarers weren't just your ordinary travelers. They were the Vikings, raiders, traders, and settlers extraordinaire, shaping the tapestry of Europe and beyond. Did you know that these Vikings were not just mere plunderers, but also skilled sailors and navigators? They sailed the mighty oceans in their iconic longships, establishing Norse settlements in far-off lands. Imagine them venturing as far as the Mediterranean, North Africa, the Middle East, and even North America, setting foot on shores uncharted by their European counterparts. In fact, they were the first Europeans to set foot in Newfoundland, a place they called Vinland. But the Vikings were more than just adventurers. They were innovators in culture and governance. They etched inscriptions and runes, spoke Old Norse, and had their own laws, art, and architecture. Interestingly, they weren't just warriors. Most Vikings were farmers, craftsmen, fishermen, and traders. Their influence reached as far as Normandy, Iceland, Greenland, and even the Byzantine city of Constantinople, where a group of Rus Vikings served as bodyguards for the Byzantine emperor. In a time far removed from our own, the Vikings, often portrayed through a romantic lens, were in reality a society veiled in mystery and tinged with eerie customs. Imagine a world where deals were sealed with mere words, a handshake as strong as an unbreakable oath. In today's world of legal complexities, it's almost impossible to fathom such simplicity. For the Vikings, a broken word was as grave as murder or theft, punishable by the ultimate sentence: death. Those who dared lie or break their promises found themselves condemned to a chilling fate, being trapped in the deep, dark river under the ground in Scandinavian hell, suffering forever for their lives. Now, let's wander into the intricacies of Viking etiquette to discuss the misfortunes of a kinsman. Uninvited was considered highly indecent. Help was freely given when asked, but unsought interference was a breach of respect. Vikings were masters of self-control, never engaging in arguments with hot-tempered souls, deeming them unworthy of a Viking's attention. Curiously, even mockery had its consequences. In the eyes of the Scandinavians, mocking a stranger invited a malevolent troll, a creature of Norse mythology, who would exact retribution by silencing the mocker forever, tearing out the offender's tongue. Now, let's step into the battlefield, a place where the Vikings' valor truly shone. But before we continue, please subscribe to this channel for more interesting content and hit that like button. Unlike many cultures, the Vikings had a profound respect for fallen warriors. They never left their comrades behind, ensuring that they were carried home with dignity. But here's the twist. The only honorable demise, according to Viking beliefs, was death in battle. Such valiant souls were chosen by the Valkyries, mythical maidens who escorted them to Odin's realm, a place of eternal honor. Death by old age, however, held a different fate, one that the Vikings found utterly disgraceful. Such individuals were believed to be sent to the realm of the goddess Hel, a place considered unworthy for a true Viking. Anticipating this undignified end, the elderly Vikings, in a practice both grim and strangely honorable, requested a ritual murder. Procopius of Caesarea documented this chilling custom, recounting how the elderly, struck by oldness or age, would ask their relatives to hasten their departure from the living world. The chosen one would be placed on top of a pyre of stacked firewood, where a non-relative armed with a knife would perform the grim duty, ensuring a swift passage to the afterlife. In the unforgiving land of Scandinavia, revenge held a special place in Viking society. It was believed that a true warrior wouldn't hastily avenge the death of a kinsman. Instead, patience was a virtue, for the longer the wait, the sweeter the revenge. When it was time to seek revenge, the person seeking vengeance would leave their weapon in the body of the wrongdoer. This act signified the end of their anger, like a frightening message left behind. Blood vengeance, a brutal custom sometimes escalated to the burning of the enemy in his own home. However, the Vikings, despite their ferocity, adhered to a code. Women, children, and the elderly were spared, for killing the weak and infirm was beneath a noble warrior. In the harsh lands of Scandinavia, matters of justice were settled by councils. Offenders had a chance to make amends by going into voluntary exile, absconding to the mountains with their kin for 40 days. After this period, the property they left behind could be returned to the family of the deceased. If a proper recompense was not accepted, mortal danger loomed over the offender. But not all Viking customs were gruesome. Take, for instance, their unique approach to childbirth. A newborn baby was placed on the ground in the house, untouched until the father made a decision about the child's fate. Dreams, local sorcerers, and wise men influenced this choice. If the child was accepted, a ritual ensued where the father cradled the infant, pouring water over them, giving them a name and a place in the Viking world. Now, picture this. The Vikings, fearless in battle, had a secret weapon, the berserkers. These warriors were given a special brew of mushrooms, rendering them impervious to pain and fatigue. In battle, they were relentless, showing no pity or mercy, their fury unleashed like a storm. As for the journey beyond life, death was seen as a transition to Odin's castle, a belief that brought solace to the grieving. In a solemn rite, the property of the deceased was divided into 3 parts. One portion was for the family, another for the funeral feast, and the last for the departed's vestments. Such ceremonies, steeped in mysticism and tradition, paint a vivid picture of the Viking way of life. As we journey deeper into the heart of Viking customs, we find ourselves amidst a tapestry of rituals both chilling and unconventional. Imagine a warrior laid to rest, not alone, but accompanied by loyal companions, a faithful dog and a sturdy horse. Yet, there is more to this gruesome tale. A slave or a concubine willingly chose to follow her master into the afterlife, was also buried alongside, her role extending even beyond death. Before her demise, she would visit the deceased relatives, engaging in intimate acts with them. In this unusual tradition, the relatives, driven by their love for their departed, found solace through this peculiar connection. In the complex web of Viking relationships, wives occasionally opted to join their husbands in the afterlife, foregoing any such interactions with relatives. This choice, while unconventional, showcased the depth of their commitment. But perhaps the most peculiar of all Viking customs was their assembly held once every 9 years. There would be a gathering of tribal representatives, a solemn event where 9 of the most esteemed warriors and 9 animals of various kinds met their fate as sacrifices. This ceremony, though gruesome, was seen as the highest honor for a Viking. The blood of the fallen was sprinkled upon the assembly, and the sacrifices were hung by their ribs in the sacred grove, a grim display of reverence. Amidst these practices, the fate of captives took diverse paths. Some faced captivity for ransom, while others remained as slaves. In Viking households, male slaves with limited rights were allowed to marry only with their master's approval. Marriage for them was not recognized as a family union. Female slaves played a vital role in Viking homes, assisting wives and even accompanying Vikings on campaigns to meet their needs. Interestingly, Vikings themselves could become slaves due to debts. If a slave couldn't work off their debt, they could be repurchased by their relatives. The children of slaves were automatically considered slaves, creating a cycle of servitude. Yet, even in their stark realities, the Vikings displayed a peculiar form of protection for their slaves. Despite their hierarchical society, they recognized the horrors of slave deaths. The concept of the bloody eagle, a gruesome execution method, serves as a chilling reminder of their brutality. The condemned, laid on his stomach, had his back cut open, ribs broken, and then pulled out to resemble wings, hence the name. This terrifying ritual, acknowledged by modern scholars, reveals a darker facet of Viking society. In these eerie traditions and brutal customs, the Vikings' world comes to life, a world where death, honor, and power intertwined in ways both mystifying and horrifying. As we peel back the layers of history, we find ourselves face to face with a civilization far removed from our own, yet strangely connected through the complexities of the human experience. What are your thoughts after watching this? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos.